2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 6th of January, and it's National Shortbread Day. And a big happy birthday to Nigella Lawson, Rowan Atkinson, Terry Venables, and Eddie Redmayne. Wednesday saw the first Prime Minister's question time of 2022, with a new face opposite Boris Johnson as Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner stepped up after Sir Keir Starmer tested positive for COVID and had to swap the Commons for isolation. Her focus was on energy bills and the looming price rise in April as the Ofgem price cap's due to move upwards, which may cost £600 for the average household. She called on Boris to scrap VAT on energy bills to help get a grip on the rising cost of living.
When energy bills are going to be hiked again in April, any decent government would find a way to help British families. Even the Tory backbenchers have finally accepted Labour's call to cut VAT on energy bills. So will he finally stand up to his Chancellor and do the same?
Boris said a number of winter fuel schemes were already supporting families, but he did appreciate his new opponent.
Mr. Speaker, he talks about energy. I think the House will agree she's got a lot more energy than the current leader of the opposition, and I welcome her point, because actually what the government is doing is supporting people throughout the pandemic.
There were 194,747 cases of COVID-19 reported on Wednesday, with 334 additional deaths announced. Even as cases remain high, Boris confirmed there'd be no changes to England's COVID Plan B rules for the next 3 weeks, although there'll be another review on the 26th of January. There was good news for travellers, though, as pre-departure testing will be scrapped from Friday, along with scrapping of the recent isolation rules.
We will also be lifting the requirement to self-isolate on arrival until receipt of a negative PCR, returning instead to the system we had in October last year, where those arriving in England will need to take a lateral flow test no later than the end of day 2, and if positive, a further PCR test to help us identify any new variants at the border.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the Capitol riots, with Joe Biden due to speak to the American nation. Wednesday saw the US Attorney General speak publicly for the first time on the Department of Justice's investigation, and he says no stone will be left unturned in the ongoing investigation into the attack. Merrick Garland said all those responsible will be held to account, so Donald's probably shaking in his shoes.
The Justice Department remains committed to holding all January 6 perpetrators at any level accountable under law, whether they were present that day or were otherwise criminally responsible for the assault on our democracy. We will follow the facts wherever they lead.
He also said not to despair that only minor charges had been prosecuted so far.
In complex cases, initial charges are often less severe than later charged offenses. This is purposeful, as investigators methodically collect and sift through more evidence.
Poor Novak Djokovic. After the big hoo-ha earlier this week over him getting an exemption from vaccination rules to compete in the Australian Open, the world #1 tennis player has now been denied entry to the country. Apparently there was a mistake on his visa application, and after 6 hours with the Australian Border Force, he's been told he'll be deported. Australian Health Minister Greg Hunt explained the reason behind the decision.
The visa for Novak Djokovic has been cancelled. The advice I have, and if I can just quote it for you, is the ABF can confirm that Mr Djokovic failed to provide appropriate evidence to meet the entry requirements to Australia, and visa has been subsequently cancelled. So it's a matter for him whether he wishes to appeal that, but if a visa is cancelled, somebody will have to leave the country.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Pam and Tommy's sex tape turns into a TV show, and David Attenborough is back, right after this.
You're listening to the Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform. The first semi-final of the Carabao Cup took place on Wednesday night with Chelsea facing Spurs in the first leg. The Arsenal-Liverpool game, which was due to take place Thursday night, has now been moved to January the 20th after a COVID outbreak at Liverpool. Chelsea were comfortable winners over Spurs, taking a 2-0 lead into the second leg next week. Spurs manager Antonio Conte didn't seem too impressed by his own team, with a brutal assessment of their performance after the game.
It was a difficult game, from the start, and I think Chelsea showed to be much better than us, and yeah.
Who doesn't love a bit of David Attenborough? The soothing voiced national treasure is back with a new nature series, this time looking at plants.
What I find exciting about a programme of this kind is that you are able to see the plant world, a crucial, basic part of our world system. You can see it in a completely new way, and you can see that it's vibrant and it's alive, it has dangers, it has possibilities, and it has amazing beauties.
The Green Planet begins on BBC One and iPlayer on the 9th of January. It's the greatest love story ever sold. Pamela Anderson's honeymoon sex tape with Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee. Ask your dad, but not in front of your mum. A new trailer's dropped for miniseries Pam and Tommy, which tells of the theft and distribution of the video in the times before the internet. Yes, such a time did actually exist. You can catch Lily James, Sebastian Stan and Seth Rogen in it from the 2nd of February on Disney+.
This is so private. It's like we're seeing something we're not supposed to be seeing.
Nobody's ever getting rich off a celebrity sex tape.
What if we sold it someplace nobody could find us? A website.
A what site?
It's this thing on the computer. People will order the tape directly from us.
Wow, you are so hot.
What the hell is this?
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Produced and published by Daft Doris.